students, welcome to Time Online Classes. So, in the previous sessions, we were discussing about the module Cell, Fundamental Unit of Life, isn't it? Yes. So, we have discussed the structure of cell, structure of plasma membrane, then we have discussed structure of cell wall, structure of nucleus, different methods of transportation like active transport, passive transport, bulk transport, isn't it? Yes. So, in this session, we are going to discuss the question and answers of the portions which we have studied earlier. Okay, so we'll have the question and answer session. Fine. So, the first session is fill in the blanks. Okay, so first we'll have the fill in the blanks. So, the first question, rigid non-living component of cell is? Yes, which is the rigid and non-living component of cell? Non-living component. Yes, it is nothing but cell wall. So, cell wall, it is the outer wall of a cell. Outer wall of cell, mainly seen in plant cell, and it is a rigid non-living component of cell. Okay, fine. Second question, the outermost layer of cell wall connecting to adjoining cell is? Which is the outermost layer of cell which connects to adjacent cell or which cement to adjacent cell? Yes, it's nothing but middle lamella. Okay, so the answer is middle lamella. So, middle lamella, it cements the two adjacent cells together. Okay, fine. Next, third question is, intercellular transportation of material from one cell to other cell take place by? Yes, so intercellular transportation of materials. Materials are transported from one cell to other cell. So, how does it take place? Or through which place does it take place? Yes, it takes place through plasmodesmata. It takes place through plasmodesmata. What was plasmodesmata? Plasmodesmata was nothing but there were cytoplasmic strands which connects two adjacent cells. I think you can remember what I have taught you earlier, right? You can say plasmodesmata is actually a small cytoplasmic strand which connects one cell to the other cell, which helps in transportation of substance from one cell to other cell. Okay, fine. Now the next question, fourth question is, cell membrane is chemically made up of dash and dash. Yes, what is cell membrane made of? Yeah, it's nothing but lipids and proteins. Cell membrane is made of lipids and proteins. Okay, nuclear membrane is also made of lipids and proteins. So, the answer is lipids and proteins, and okay, so the answer is lipids and proteins. Most correctly saying, we can say phospholipids. So, it is made of phospholipids and proteins. Okay, fine. Now, the next is fifth question. The component which is considered as a dynamic part of cell. Yes, which is the dynamic part of cell or which is the controlling center of a cell? Yeah, it's nothing but nucleus. So, we know nucleus is the controlling center of cell. It controls every activity or every function taking place inside the cell. Okay. So, next we have our sixth question, that is, the fold of plasma membrane in bacterial cells are known as? Okay. So, in case of bacterial cells, the plasma membrane forms inner foldings. Forms small finger-like inner foldings, and these inner foldings are known as mesosome. Okay, so these inner foldings are known as mesosome. So, in case of bacterial cells, the plasma membrane or cell membrane, they form certain inner foldings. And these inner foldings are what we call mesosome. Okay, fine. Now, the next question is, seventh question, the part of cytoplasm excluding the cell organelle is called. So, what is cytoplasm? Cytoplasm is nothing but it is the fluid present inside the cell as well as the cell organelle. So, it's cytoplasm comprised of the fluid as well as cell organelles. Now, the part of cytoplasm excluding the cell organelle is called what? It's called cytosol. Okay, it's called cytosol. Okay. Now, we have the eighth question. Homeostasis in the cell is maintained by dash. Yes, homeostasis is the function of, it's the function of plasma membrane. It's a function of plasma membrane. What is homeostasis? Homeostasis means constant environment inside the cell. So, maintaining constant environment inside the cell is done by nothing but plasma membrane. Okay? Okay, students. So, the next question is, genes are made up of complex chemical substance known as dash. Yes. We know chromosome. Chromosomes are made of chromatid. Chromatids, which are fine thread-like structure. Now, these chromatids are in turn made of what? They are made up of genes. Now, these genes are made of what? Genes are made of DNA. Okay, genes are made of DNA. DNA is otherwise called deoxyribonucleic acid. DNA is also called deoxyribonucleic acid. Okay, students? Okay. Now, next we'll have select the correct alternative from the given choices. We'll have MCQ questions. Okay. So, the first question. Master control of cell or cell brain is dash. Yes, master control of cell. Which is the master control of cell? Which is the part of cell which controls the cell? Yeah, it's nothing but nucleus. So, nucleus is the controlling center of cell. So, master control of the cell or cell brain is called nucleus. Okay. So, now we have our 11th question. Okay. The 11th question is, cell wall is not involved in options: absorption, secretion, osmoregulation and translocation. The answer is translocation. Okay, so cell wall is not involved in translocation, but cell wall is involved in absorption, secretion as well as osmoregulation. Okay, so the answer is translocation, option 4. Okay, so next is 12th question. 12th question, in certain fungi, many nuclei are present in their single large body. This is known as, okay. So, we have studied nuclei or we have studied nucleus, isn't it? Yes. So, some cells might possess a single nuclei. Some cells might possess many nuclei. Now, the cells having many nuclei are called what? They are called multinucleate cell, isn't it? Yes. So, they are called multinucleate cell and we have studied an example for it. Okay. Can you remember the example? What was the example? Yeah, it was muscle cell. Muscle cell was the example for multinucleate cell. Okay. Similarly, fungi, they also, cells of fungi also have many nuclei in a single cell. So, in case of a fungi, the cells of fungi also have many nuclei in a single cell. Now, this condition can be called as multinucleate condition. Okay, multinucleate condition, or it is also called cenocytic. Cenocytic. So, this condition in which a cell has many nuclei is called cenocytic. Okay, students, please note. So, the condition in which a cell having many nuclei is called cenocytic or multinucleate condition. Okay, so the answer for the question is option number 3. Now, option 3, cenocytic. Okay, students, fine. So, now we have our 13th question. What happens to a cell when placed in salt solution? Options: burst, shrink, swell, no effect. Okay. So, what is salt solution? Salt solution means, yeah, it is a hypertonic solution, isn't it? Salt solution means what? It will have low concentration of water and it will have high concentration of what? Salt, isn't it? So, solution having low concentration of water is what we call hypertonic solution, isn't it? Yes. So, when a cell is placed in a hypertonic solution, what happens? Exosmosis takes place, isn't it? Yeah, I think you can remember, you can recall all what I have taught you, isn't it? Yes. So, when a cell is placed in a salt solution or when a cell is placed in a hypertonic solution, exosmosis takes place or water starts to move out of the cell. So, what happens? The cell starts to shrink. Okay, students? So, the answer for this question is option 2, that is shrink. So, cells, they start to shrink. Okay. Next is question number 14. Cell theory states that cells are structural and fundamental units of dash. Options: plants, animals, both plants and animals, only microorganisms. Yeah, cells are structural and what does cell theory state? We have many postulates for cell theory, and one of the postulates is that cells are the structural and functional, or cells are structural and fundamental unit of all organisms, isn't it? All organisms. So that includes plants as well as animals, isn't it? Yes. So that includes plants and animals. So the option is option 3, both plants and animals. Okay. Okay. So the answer is both plants and animals. Now, the next question. The structure that imparts turgidity and rigidity to the cell. Options: vacuole, ribosome, cell wall, cell membrane. Okay, well, what does vacuole do? I think we haven't studied. Vacuole, they help in storage of many material. Now, ribosome, they help in synthesizing proteins. Okay, we'll study it later. Fine. And cell membrane, what does cell membrane do? They help in transportation of certain substance. Now, what is the function of cell wall? Cell wall is the one which imparts turgidity as well as rigidity to the cell. Okay. So the answer for this question is cell wall. So the structure that imparts turgidity and rigidity to cell is cell wall. So the answer is option 3, cell wall. So now next we have our 16th question. So 16th question is the physiological process that helps in uptake of water and salt in plant. Options: diffusion, photosynthesis, respiration and osmosis. Okay. So the question is physiological process that help in uptake of water. So it is actually what? It is actually the movement of water. Okay. So what is the single term for movement of water? Or what is the movement of water from higher concentration to lower concentration called? Yeah, it's nothing but osmosis. So it is by the process of osmosis that what happens, that a plant uptakes water, or that a plant takes in water. Okay. So the physiological process that help in uptake of water and salt in plant is osmosis. Okay, students. So the answer of the question is osmosis. Okay. So here it is mentioned that what is the single term for uptake of water? What is uptake of water? It means movement of water. Okay. So what is movement of water? It is nothing but osmosis. Okay. So the answer is osmosis. Fine, students? Yes. Now next we have knowledge based questions. The first question is define phagocytosis. Define phagocytosis. What is phagocytosis? Yeah, it's nothing but it is a kind of endocytosis. Is it? What is endocytosis? Yeah, endocytosis is movement of substance from external environment into the cell. I have shown you the video, is it? Yes. So, what is endocytosis? Endocytosis is the movement of substance from external environment into the cell. Now, phagocytosis is a kind of endocytosis. Now, in case of phagocytosis, the substances, foreign particles like bacteria enters the cell. So, what is phagocytosis? Phagocytosis is a process in which foreign substances like bacteria, virus, etc. enter the cell by engulfing. So, that is what we call phagocytosis. Okay? Okay, so the answer is engulfing of foreign substances, dead cells and pathogens by phagocytes or WBC. WBC is a kind of cell. Okay, it's a cell. So, engulfing foreign substances, dead cells and pathogens, etc. by phagocytes or by WBC is what we call phagocytosis. Okay, students? Okay. Now, our next question is explain the structure of plasma membrane. What are the major functions of it? Okay, we have studied in detail the structure of plasma membrane. Is it? Yes. So, plasma membrane is the outer covering of a cell. Okay. Now, plasma membrane is made of lipids and proteins. So, it is made up of what? It is made of lipids as well as proteins. Okay. So, it is the outer covering of cell. It is semi-permeable membrane. It is living and semi-permeable membrane. What is semi-permeable? Semi-permeable means selectively permeable. Is it? Yes. So, it allows only certain substance to move into the cell. I have explained all of this in detail in the previous videos. In the previous sessions, I have explained this in detail. Okay. So, I'll tell you the points. So, structure of plasma membrane. Plasma membrane is the outer covering of cell. Now, it is a living semi-permeable membrane. What is semi-permeable? Semi-permeable means selectively permeable. Selectively permeable means it allows only certain substances to enter the cell. So, it is a selectively permeable membrane. Then it is elastic, delicate and flexible. Yes, it is the outer covering and hence it must be elastic, delicate as well as flexible. Okay. Now, it is made of lipids and proteins. I have told you it's made of lipids and proteins. Now, we have the functions of plasma membrane. What are the functions of plasma membrane? Yeah, of course, it helps in protection. It helps in protection. It gives shape to the cell. Okay, it acts as a mechanical barrier. It prevents only, it allows only certain substance to enter the cell and to move out of the cell, isn't it? Yes, so it acts as a mechanical barrier. Okay, and then it helps in transportation of substances into the cell and out of cell. Okay, so these are the main functions. Also, they help in maintaining homeostasis. Okay, so they give shape to the cell. They act as mechanical barrier. Then they protect the cell from injury. They protect the cell from injury. Then they help in movement of substance into and out of the cell. Then it maintains homeostasis. Okay, students. So I think it's very clear for you. Fine. Yes. So we'll move on to the next question. The next question: define the following. Define osmosis, plasmolysis, imbibition, diffusion and protoplasm. So what is osmosis? Yeah, osmosis is nothing but it is the movement of water from higher concentration to lower concentration. Okay. So what is osmosis? Osmosis is the movement of water molecule or movement of solvent from a solution of higher water concentration to a solution of lower water concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, so what is in simple terms, what is osmosis? It is a movement of water molecule from higher concentration to lower concentration using a semi-permeable membrane. Okay. Now next, what is plasmolysis? When does plasmolysis take place? Yeah, plasmolysis takes place when a cell is placed in a hypertonic solution. So when a cell is placed in a hypertonic solution, what happens? What happens is that water starts to move out into the solution. So water starts to move out from the cell. So water from the cell move out and they moves out into the solution. So what happens? The cell starts to shrink or they reduce their size. The cell starts to reduce their size. Okay. So what is plasmolysis? Plasmolysis is nothing but the shrinkage of protoplasm from the cell wall. Or in simple terms, plasmolysis is the shrinkage of a cell. The shrinkage of a cell is what we call plasmolysis. Okay. Or if we are defining plasmolysis in a very detailed or in a very accurate manner, we have to say that plasmolysis is the shrinkage of protoplasm away from the cell wall. Okay. So what is plasmolysis? Shrinkage of protoplasm away from cell wall. Okay. So plasmolysis, shrinking of protoplasm away from cell wall. Okay. Now, next is imbibition. What is imbibition? When does imbibition take place? Imbibition takes place when a cell is placed in a hypotonic solution, is it? Yes. So when a cell is placed in a hypotonic solution, what happens? Water from the solution starts to move into the cell. So water from the solution, it starts to move into the cell. What happens? So what happens is that the size of cell increases. Or the cell starts to swell. So cell starts to swell or the size of cell starts to increase. So this is what we call imbibition. Or in very accurate term, if we say imbibition, it is the movement of water into a solid substance, or it is the absorption of water by a solid substance is what we call imbibition. For example, when we place seeds, inside water for germination, what happens? Water starts to move into the seed. So what is happening actually? Actually, the seed, which is a solid substance, is absorbing the water. Okay, so that is imbibition. Okay, students? Okay. So imbibition is the adsorption of water by solid substance. So it is the adsorption of water by solid substance. A very good example is placing seeds inside water for germination. So when seeds are placed inside water, what happens? The seed starts to take up water and they starts to increase in size. So this is what we call imbibition. So the process in which the solid substance absorb or they adsorb water is what we call imbibition. Okay. Fine. Now what is diffusion? Yeah, diffusion is just the opposite of osmosis. It's not the opposite of osmosis. In osmosis, it is actually water molecules. Diffusion mainly concentrates about air molecules or gaseous molecules. Okay. So what is diffusion? It is a movement of molecules, especially gaseous molecules, from higher concentration to lower concentration. So it is a movement of molecules, especially gaseous molecules, from higher concentration to lower concentration. Okay, so that is diffusion. Okay. Now next is protoplasm. What is protoplasm? Protoplasm is nothing but the colorless living material inside the cell. We have said there is a living material inside the cell, and that living material inside the cell is what we call protoplasm.